I'm from Niger Delta. And but let's Jide, let's welcome Mrs. Olabisi Deji Folutile. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
So the team is ready. I hope you are. All right, then let's go. You know, rather lamentably, our government has kept us in a perpetual state of fear with no let-up in sight. The latest report we have is that terrorists attacked a military checkpoint on Thursday night near the Zuma Rock in Niger State. Now, the shootout took place at a town called Madala, I think I know the place, on the Kaduna-Abuja highway. Now, a soldier was felled in the process, even as motorists scampered for safety. In Borno State, Boko Haram fighters ambushed the convoy of the chairman of Nganzai local government area. I hope I got that right. And the man is a Sheikh Maman Gaddafi. A policeman was killed in the process. Jide, they talk about the Ides of July. They're still here.
Yes. Well, you asked a question. I hope you got that right. You didn't get it right. It's pronounced Ganze.
Ganze?
Yes.
Okay.
Ganze.
Is there room for forgiveness?
Well, I may not forgive you, but it's up to the viewers to forgive you.
Okay, Ganze, you said?
Yes, Ganze.
Okay, all right then. So you see, the Ides are still here.
Yes, very much. And I'm really worried for Abuja, the seat of power. Just before we got into the studio, I received a report of armed robbery in Abuja. Armed robbery happening in Abuja is like a reality. You don't get to hear about armed robbery in daylight. People relieved of their cars, relieved of their phones. I mean, in the seat of power, you don't get to hear about that. Maybe in some of the satellite towns.
They do this unchallenged.
No, because the place had been well protected over the years. The place had been peaceful. But now we are facing all kinds of security challenges in the seat of power now. 2 of the 6 area councils have already been breached by terrorists. Now, report of attack on people's cars, taking away people's phones. It also is.
No, I cannot say the Abuja is paying for its peaceful nature. No.
No, we are paying for our refusal to recognize that the threat was there, our refusal to take the right measures, because we can't say that there were no security reports indicating that these guys were moving into the Federal Capital Territory. When the staff quarters of the University of Abuja was breached, and lecturers taken away, the family members taken into the forest, we should have known that these guys had come to Abuja. So what steps did we take to ensure that after that attack on the university, they did not go further?
Yeah.
We didn't really take any concrete steps, or maybe we took steps that were not good enough. So Kuje happened. After Kuje, Buhari happened. And now the report of the attack on, the armed robbery attack on people. Madala is close to the seat of power. Madala was where the Christmas Day bombing happened some years back.
I know the town, it's by Zuma, overlooking Zuma itself.
Yes, it's close to the seat of power.
We used to drink plenty of palm wine there.
So and you never took us along. You are selfish in that. And that.
No vex.
Okay. Now, if Madala and other communities around Abuja are not safe, if those communities are bursting at the seams with terrorists, with bandits, if we do not take the right measures, they will seep into the seat of power. This is what we are seeing. If terrorists can attack a prison in Abuja, a prison not up to 30 minutes drive from the airport, and they operated for 2 hours plus and got away with it.
Yeah.
What is going on? That is the question that people will ask. And even at Kaduna, another state that is brimming, in inverted commas, with terrorists, is not far away from Abuja. It just is under 2 hours from Abuja, and the forests link one another.
Yeah.
So we've got to identify where these guys have some preeminence and take them out in those places. People are grumbling about journalists going to interview terrorists and the rest. That's to tell you that those terrorists are not ghosts. People know where they are.
They're human.
If I went to Shimfida and I interviewed bandits in December 2018, and we are seeing other journalists now going to interview terrorists in 2020.
And that the BBC produced a documentary. It means
that's the point.
They had plenty of time.
Before then, Daily Trust interviewed some of these good-for-nothing people.
Yeah.
Now, it shows that they are not ghosts, that we can locate them and exterminate them. That's the thing. How did the journalists get to where they are? So it's a challenge for our armed forces.
More questions than answers.
Our armed forces must go and serve justice to these people, because one of them, the other day, Aliro, said he does not kidnap, he merely kills. That's extreme arrogance.
In English, what does it mean?
He was saying rubbish.
Okay.
So what does he kill for?
BC, you know, they say we have gotten to a stage where we should, like Caesar's wife, be above suspicion. You know, anything is possible as we sit here.
Honestly, and even Abuja residents, they are not finding it easy. And if you notice from a few days back, everybody has expressed fear. Even if you go on Twitter and other social media platforms, you hear people telling you that if that trip to Abuja is not too important, don't
forget it. Yeah.
On it. And that shows you how scared people are, which is not good for our reputation. If Nigerians are afraid of going to the Federal Capital Territory, then what do we talk about? Foreigners coming to Nigeria, then this is an economy that is depressed.
Yeah.
So how do you talk about investments and all of that? A few nations have already issued warnings to their citizens that they should not go near the seat of power. This is really unfortunate. And to now imagine that this thing didn't start yesterday. It's been on and on and on. It's just deteriorating and deteriorating. And to now also imagine that these people came out to say that they will even kidnap our president. And after coming out to make such a stupid statement, we now see all this uprising. Is really unfortunate.
And again, I know that fear is man's greatest enemy, Jide, and it is man-made, you know. So if this culture of fear is infused in the system, then we're in trouble.
There's every reason to be afraid. Even if, you see, if you were not scared before, if you were not afraid before, the realization that some of the worst bomb makers, some of the worst commanders of Boko Haram have been let loose by the attack on the Kuje prisons. To get you scared.
Oh, yeah.
The last video that these folks released about the about the Abuja train, victims of the attack on the Abuja train. One of them was boasting that he was one of those freed from Kuje prison. Was boasting.
You can't
now they're on the
him.
loose.
You
now they're on the loose.
Him.
Some of them are among the worst bomb makers that Boko Haram has. So we could be seeing, or we should expect maybe attacks on revelry spots, drinking dens, drinking dens, and we have so many drinking dens in Abuja now, all those gardens. So if we don't take the right steps, nip attacks in the butt before they are executed, it could lead to loss of lives. Because they are not just going to free those people for nothing. They want them to join in the evil that they are
committing. Create more anxiety.
Yes, people are naturally scared now, knowing that those guys are still on the loose. More than 40 of them are still on the loose.
For me,
it's a reason to be afraid.
For me, traveling back to my Akwa Ibom goes beyond just taking a ride on the motor, on the vehicle. The scenery, but you can't afford that anymore.
Yes. When you are traveling from Kwara, if you leave Ilorin, for example, you are going to Kaduna, you spend hours within Niger State. Yes.
The landmass.
Yes, it's Nigeria's biggest state. But you'll be happy to take in the fauna, the beautiful, the scenic beauty on both sides of the road. You see the mountains, the way the mountains are shaped and all that. These are beautiful things, just like you are going to Ekiti State.
Oh, yeah, from here.
F1 Laye. Once you get to F1 Laye, you see those mountains, on the right, if you are going.
Sorry, we're joined by Ayola. Ayola is reaching us from Ikorodu. Here in Lagos. Good evening, Ayola. How do you do?
Good evening, Stephen Jones.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, thank you. You see, I want to make a little contribution concerning what you are discussing. Are there no good advisor for Mr. President? Jide, yourself, Ayo, and every other person in this program, you are bringing out so many tangible reasons, so many discussions, so many suggestions, but it's like Mr. President and his kitchen cabinet, they are dead and dumb. Are they waiting until what happened to Gaddafi and every other African countries happened to us in Africa, in Nigeria here? By the time they get to so-called Abuja, the seat of power, does it seem, is it believing that he is safe by himself?
Yeah, Ayola, except that Nigeria is not Libya. So I cannot begin to think of what happened with Gaddafi. But the journalist's job is to help mold opinion. And the opinion is for country rulers to take decisions that affect the generality. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your intervention. Okay, BC, the news is also that in Borno State, a local government chairman's convoy was attacked. So you expect anything anywhere?
Well, that's not strange. Even the president's convoy was ambushed. His security personnel, some of them were ambushed during the Salah holiday, and a few of them were killed. So who is a local government chairman? So the situation has really gotten to a point that, honestly, it's like everything has broken down. Somebody said things have turned upside down. And even though you don't want to be pessimistic, you still want to be, optimistic about things in this country. And also you also want to be a patriotic citizen. But it's very difficult not to really think in a pessimistic manner when you look at all the things that are happening around us. So,
you know, Jide, except that for the patriot, he gets to the crossroads and he begins to choose from two people who to support, the country or government.
Yes, and so, the patriot will always choose his country
first.
Over individuals, over friendship, over anything. And there are those who see us not as patriots, who see us as haters of our country. A lot of such people that you sometimes ask yourself whether they are thinking faculty
or they are members of the human race.
Yes. When people call journalists names for drawing attention to areas where we need improvement, when people call journalists, what is it called, conflict entrepreneurs, for saying that we need to improve in this area, you get really convinced that such people need to have their brains checked. Yeah. The job of the journalist is to alert the government to possibilities, things that you can do to make the country better. When the country is better, we'll all be happy.
Obviously.
That is the thing. I've told people that at least I once lived in a happy Nigeria. No one can tell me that the Nigeria of the 70s was not way better than...
Put simply, there was a country in this country and I lived in that country.
Yes, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I know BC did.
It. Yeah. Today, our children, the other day when I interviewed the pastor, Wale Adefarasin, he said he enjoyed running on the streets with other kids. But these days, kids are kept indoors because they could be kidnapped.
And you begin to look for money for ransom.
So this is the thing. No one wants to go through all that pain.
All right, we go to our next story. You know, a defection, according to the dictionary, is the process of forsaking one's cause or political party for another because of a change in ideology. As a matter of fact, defections have become second nature to politicians in our jurisdiction. In Rivers State, Senator Magnus Abe has jumped ship, I should say. Barely a week ago, the former federal lawmaker and chieftain of the ruling APC, in that state, who promised that he would be on the ballot for the governorship election in Rivers State next year, defected to the Social Democratic Party, SDP. His publicist, Paris Sarah Benson, said it has become expedient for Senator Abe to move on with his political career, having resigned from the APC. Politics, I'm told, busy is a vocation of the possible. Anything is possible in politics. And let me add this. I hear Nigerians take our comedians more seriously than they take politicians.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
I don't think so, because they just move, and you can't really say Nigerian politicians, many of them, I think most of them, have any form of ideology guiding them. So even the defection we are talking about here is like moving from one room to another parlor, depending on what you think. But in the case of Abe, don't forget that he has never been satisfied. There has been a running battle between him and Amechi in Rivers State, and him leaving the party shouldn't even surprise people, more so when he's nursing this governorship ambition, and he still believes that he's going to be on the ballot, despite the fact that SDP has already submitted a name to INEC, and that name has been published by INEC. So, of course, if the candidates whose name is published decides to step down, he can still get there. So let's wait whether that is ambition. He will still be able to get it through SDP. But I think for Nigerian politicians, self-interest guides them above national or political interests.
Yeah, Jide, at a time when politics stops being a mission and becomes a way of life, you begin to wonder, should I go into politics? If this is what it means. This is just talked about our man here not being a man who is easily satisfied.
You mean
Magnus?
No, I don't think it's right to say he's not easily satisfied. This man had endured so much pain. Others will have left the party a long time ago. But after the nonsense that happened in 2019, he remained in the party, hoping that the leadership of the party will solve the problem between him and the leader of the party in Rivers State. But as it usually happens in the APC, they decided to side with an individual instead of bringing the two of them together.
Yeah.
And that is why in many of the states, you see the party, they always lose when they are in conflict in this manner. When you can't resolve disputes between power people within the party pays for it. So, just as by siding with Amechi, he saw clearly that he had no future in the party, because he even famously said that he does not, that in Gokana, for example, where he comes from, that he doesn't even know the chairman of the local government. I mean, the party in the local government doesn't even know the chairman. Whereas, if they were working together, if Amechi and Magnus were working together, Magnus should have a say in who becomes the chairman of the party in his home local government. Yes, you as the leader may have you take the lion's share, but not that you will take everything. Some party leaders try to push others out of the party by making this a winner takes all affair.
Yeah.
You know? So once you do that, and others think that, look, there is no future for us here, they will eventually leave. So I think that he stayed long enough. Many people will not even stay for even 1 month. They will leave. But it was increasingly clear to him that, look, with Amechi in charge, with Amechi as the leader of the party in charge, I mean in the state, that he will not achieve anything. Nothing will be considered to him. It's as simple as that. Let the party, the best way to solve this kind of problem is for the party to bring warring groups together, arrive at a kind of power sharing. This is the way I've seen it done in other places. But in the APC, the leadership will side with the one of the individuals, most likely the leader of the party in the state. Meaning that as the leader, he can do whatever pleases him with other members. And when you do that,
get away with it.
Yes. And President Buhari warned them before the primaries. He said, let these primaries be transparent. Let's not shut other people out. Because when we do that and they defect, we usually pay for it.
That's it.
I said something here the other day. I said, PDP has won more states through the ballot box in the last 6 years than the APC. And it's not because the PDP is that strong. It's because they feast on the crisis in the APC all the time.
Yeah.
In Oyo State, they didn't forgive one another. PDP feasted on it. Even the governor, the then outgoing governor, lost his senatorial seat. He wanted to go to the Senate. But PDP profited from the misunderstanding. So it happens all the time because they always find it difficult to reconcile aggrieved parties. The party has to have a conflict resolution mechanism.
Yeah.
Magnus won't be the last person to leave. Some other people will leave. How do you keep people within the party and keep everyone happy? It is not by...
It's a tall order.
It is not by one individual grabbing all that is at stake. It is by power sharing, managing the egos of people.
But we hear politics is a game of interest and so on.
But your own interest should not be bigger than the interest of the party.
Of the party.
If the interest of the party is to win elections, then it must find a way to please other stakeholders or other interest groups.
But see, hear this. You know, you wonder if defections will bring a redeeming effect to the defectors.
It depends. Some could benefit, depending on how strong they are and the platform they go to. And so it's possible if the candidate himself is very strong, it's possible. But it's also possible that you can go and you may not get anything. But some of them are also smart. I know there is a kind of politics going on even within the PDP now that could have propelled some of their bigwigs to probably defect. But I guess they have weighed the options and they have known that if they do that, it's not going to be, it's not going to be in their own interest. So, like I said, it's just about interest.
I guess we have no choice but wish Senator Magnus Abe well in his new party. And of course, but the point must be made that politicians shoot themselves in the foot by building more walls instead of bridges. All right, then, we'll go on a commercial break. We should be back. This is Journalist Hangout. Please stay.
Properties present the R3 Conference. Recharge, reload, refire. 1 day, 4 speakers, 5 companies, 100 attendees. It is the first annual leadership conference. Join us on Saturday, the 30th of July at 10 a.m. at 4 Points by Sheraton Lekki, Lagos. Come learn high impact growth and leadership. Speaking Ni Adesonya, Olakunle Shoriyan, Dotun Oluyede, ID Olumide Kabasa. To register, visit the r3conference.com/ticket. This event is proudly sponsored by Rollout Property and First Fountain Homes.
The University of Medical Sciences, UNIMED, in Ondo City, Ondo State, is not just the first specialized medical and health sciences university in Nigeria.
It is the best ground for training in the health professions and medical sciences with outstanding products.
I had to enroll at another institution before coming to UNIMED, and I can tell you, in terms of facility, affordable cost, uninterrupted academic calendar, University of Medical Sciences blew my mind.
In just 7 years of its founding, the National Universities Commission, NUC, ranks UNIMED best among medical and health sciences university in Nigeria, 4th best state university, and 19th overall best in Nigeria in 2021. UNIMED, proudly Nigeria's first specialized medical and health sciences university.
Rollout Properties present the R3 Conference. Recharge, reload, refire. 1 day, 4 speakers, 5 companies, 100 attendees. It is the first annual leadership conference. Join us on Saturday, the 30th of July at 10 a.m. at 4 Points by Sheraton Lekki, Lagos. Come learn high impact growth and leadership. Speaking Ni Adesonya, Olakunle Shoriyan, Dotun Oluyede, ID Olumide Kabasa. To register, visit the r3conference.com/ticket. This event is proudly sponsored by Rollout Property and First Fountain Homes.
All right, then to our next story. You know, a president, it must be stressed, cannot defend a nation if he is not held accountable to its laws. One law in this connection is to secure such a country at a time like this. The opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP caucus of the House of Reps has backed their colleagues at the Senate over the call for impeachment of the president, Muhammadu Buhari. The PDP lawmakers said the state of the country is appalling and therefore issued a 6-week ultimatum to the #1 citizen to solve the numerous challenges of the country or risk being removed. We are indeed in the throes of an exceptional emergency, Jide.
Yeah, well, people are not happy. People expect us to be protected better. People are speaking their minds. And look, when lawmakers speak in this manner, they are responding to pressure from their own constituents. Because people are asking questions, what's going on? What's going on? We've never been so wide open like this. We've got to protect Nigerians better. And if the seat of power itself does not feel safe, then where is it safe? That's the question that people will ask. Where is it safe? If the seat of power doesn't feel safe, where is it safe? Where do we run to? So the Senate, they had a session that they shot journalists out of. But clearly, during that closed door session, they told themselves the truth. Told themselves the truth that the way things are going, we are on the throes of a security emergency. There is a need for drastic measures to be taken. There's a need to get a message across to the president that he needs to work harder. He needs to do better in the area of protecting us. I don't think there's anything wrong about that because it's their duty to oversight the president. If the president is not doing well in an area, they have every reason to tell him, Mr. President, in this area, that area, you need to improve. That was what came out of that meeting. But by the time the PDP guys came out, it then occurred to someone to actually, yes, the idea of an ultimatum was the product of that meeting. But they were proposing that after the ultimatum, they would think of what to do next. But the PDP guys decided to bring the idea of impeachment notice, but that was not what. That was not the decision of the committee of the whole.
That's
you get the point. So a lot of them must have been taken aback, the APC guys, that we did it, we said yes. Let's give him 6 months within which to
6
improve,
weeks.
6 weeks, sorry, within which to improve. But we had not decided that in
after 6 weeks,
after 6 weeks, then impeachment. No. So they are saying that was not what, and you could sense that the Senate president was embarrassed by that motion. That was why he aggressively shut it down. But in all of this, we can see something.
Yeah.
The fact that Nigerians and their representatives are worried.
Oh,
that look,
and rightly so.
Yeah, that security has to improve. And now I'm not surprised that the PDP House of Reps caucus decided to support their colleagues. Now they are saying that they will still go ahead with the plan to impeach the president. That, in my view, would only achieve the aim of sending a message across.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the number to impeach the president.
One of them boasted they had the numbers.
You and I know that they do not control
their house.
The thing is just like in the US.
So are you suggesting that even in the ruling party,
yes,
many members are not they
are not impressed with the
goings on?
Yes, they are not impressed with the way with what this government has achieved in the area of security.
Yeah,
they are not achieved. They are not impressed, and they say it. You had Ndume screaming on the floor the other day. You had Smart Adeyemi also saying this, that we can't go home. We can't go to our respective constituencies. It's dangerous, this and that. So I can feel that anger. That anger must have led to the decision to give the president an ultimatum to improve.
Yeah.
But the decision of the whole was not that it should be followed with an impeachment notice.
Yeah. Busy, but you know, the 6 weeks started counting down yesterday. Life is like a football match. You can never score a goal so long as you don't have your eye on the goalposts.
For me, it's good enough that our lawmakers, for the first time, stood up to identify with Nigerians in this security area, and also took a decision to give the president an ultimatum. It doesn't matter whether that ultimatum, whether anything is going to come out of that ultimatum or not. But at least for the first time, we saw something, we saw a reaction that identifies with the feelings of the people. And that, for me, is very important and should be noted. Whether they are going to achieve the purpose, I don't even see them achieving that in any case. But I cannot say that even for sure now. You see, to impeach a president is not moi. It's a long process. They need a third of the National Assembly to sign the petition, the notice for impeachment. Yeah. The Senate president will need to serve the president that notice of impeachment. And after that process, they now need 2/3 of the National Assembly to vote.
To third signatures.
Yes, to vote for the impeachment of the president. So it's a very long, winding process that you cannot say that because some people just merely walked out and gave an ultimatum that is what is coming out of it. But at least we are happy.
For once.
For once. And who knows, maybe that also propelled the military to do the changes that we saw between yesterday and today. Who knows? Maybe not, maybe. Yeah. But at least it's symbolic.
But the most popular form of hope is expecting nothing from something, especially in our country, giving to miracles and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the president should be embarrassed enough that that senators can even come together and say they want to give him 6 weeks within which to improve. This area of his stewardship is not done well at all.
I wonder how you react to the statement credited to the Kaduna helmsman that Mr. President never knew about a particular development until I told him, you know. Things like that will deepen the gulf between the leader and the led.
Yes, maybe the papers that reported the threats by those bandits to kidnap the president, maybe they were not shown to the president. Maybe so that he will not read them. In any case, I don't view that threat seriously. It's just empty threat from some bandits who are already playing God or believing that, look, they are unassailable, no one can handle them at this stage. Their record of success against the armed forces, against ordinary Nigerians, is beginning to make them think that anything that they want to do, they can succeed at it. So why won't they think of kidnapping the president or kidnapping Governor Rufai? But in my view, yes, this is a long shot. They can't achieve it, but this should encourage the president to take whatever steps that need to be taken to wipe these guys out. These guys are good for nothing. We don't need them. They are making life unbearable for our people. inflicting serious pain on our people. You can imagine bandits who have kept the train victims
since March
28.
No change.
They are collecting 100 million from per person. In fact, one of the victims was said to have paid 200 million before he was released. 200 million. One. You know, one earlier paid 120 million. Then another one paid 200 million. Those boys have collected up to 1.8 billion from hapless Nigerians that they have held. There's a friend of mine who told me that, look, we are contributing money for one of the guys because they've been told it has to be 100 million or nothing. You know?
And what do they use this money for? Buy more arms to harass the hapless country.
The more weapons they have, the stronger they become. They will be able to confront the military. They will be able to kidnap more people. You know, so it's a terrible situation that we find ourselves. I hope that the ultimatum given the president will make him sit down with his people, including the National Security Advisor, whose impact we are not feeling, to then operationalize the protection of not just Abuja, but every part of our country. And we want to see results.
I hear he has threatened the service chiefs with a sack if they don't behave.
But it's not the service chiefs alone. How about the NSA, for example? That's the man who sits at top of everything.
He's the clearinghouse.
He's the man who sits at top of everything. But we are not seeing results. Even in his home state, his hometown, Monguno, lately there have been attacks there. His hometown.
All right, Mr. President, we wish you well. We know the buck stops at your table in Abuja. What you do in the coming days will make or mar our country. Wish you well. All right, to our next story. You know, the 2023 general election is a national event which must not be toyed or messed with. The House of Reps Committee on Electoral Matters has been mandated to investigate the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC's handling of the voter registration, including alleged constraints on timely procurement and production of permanent voter cards, PVC. In addition, the committee is to ascertain the electoral umpire's voting process from accreditation to transmission of results, plus a practical demonstration of the INEC server, e-collation officers, and the ability to manipulate voting results at that level, with the ability or not to operate the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, you know. Now, NEC is trying, INEC, I should say, is trying to reinvent itself. Only the immoderate attitude of politicians tend to rubbish its moderate gains, basically.
Well, let me start by even lauding INEC at this time. I think, by and large, the commission has improved, and I think our electoral process has also gained a bit more credibility, and the signs are there. It's much more difficult now with beavers for people, for politicians to rig, because there is no more use of incident forms, which they usually use to change figures and all of that. With this new technology now, if the INEC machine does not capture your finger, it will capture your face. And that means that you cannot, you have to be the one that is registered for you to be able to cast your vote. And you won't need to say that, okay, because this thing has not captured my finger, therefore I won't be able to vote. Then we will now use the incident form where they can now put different kinds of things. Besides, this time around, once you vote and the election finishes at a poll, then you can actually transmit that result, whether there is internet or there is no internet, because wherever you are, anywhere internet meets you, the figure you have already input will appear at the central server, which is a lot of improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, I don't know, politicians, I don't think they would like that kind of improvement.
Yeah.
Because it's going to, definitely, it has taken away some of their...
Taking the rug from under their feet.
But that is not to say that we should not still look at the entire process and find out if there is any way that INEC staff can manipulate the results in any way, but you know, anything is possible.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong in actually verifying and doing a lot of investigation into the process. But I think for me, INEC has improved.
I want to underscore what you said. The INEC has improved. I cannot forget the red card you issued in Zamfara State. We thought it was a joke. I dared them, but they went the whole hog, and so they did in River State. All right, now we'll go for another commercial break. We'll be back. Please stay with us.
The Executive Vice Chairman, Chief Executive of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, Engineer Professor M.S. Haruna Sarkin Sharif Jahan Nasarawa, cordially invites the public to the groundbreaking of the permanent site of Agricultural Machinery and Equipment Development Institute and launching of solar home systems for 4,000 homes in Lafia, Nasarawa State. On the same day, there will be a groundbreaking of NASENI Skill Development Center and North Central Zonal Engineering and Science Integrated Laboratory in Kefi, Nasarawa State. Date, Monday, 1st August 2022. Time, 10 a.m. beside College of Agriculture in Lafia and 2 p.m. for Zonal Laboratory along Kefi, Nasarawa Road. Special guest of honor, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, the Chief of Staff to the President. Chief host, the Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi Suley. Special guest, the Honorable Minister for Environment, Barrister Mohammed Hassan Abdullahi. Royal Fathers of the Day, the Emir of Lafia and Baribari and Chairman, Nasarawa State Council of Chiefs, and the Emir of Kefi, Alhaji Shehu Chindo Yumusa III, who is the Vice Chairman, Nasarawa State Council of Chiefs, and Chancellor, Nasarawa State University. Announcer, Professor Engineer M.S. Haruna, Executive Vice Chairman, NASENI.
Rollout Properties presents the R3 Conference. Recharge, reload, refire. 1 day, 4 speakers, 5 companies, 100 attendees. It is the first annual leadership conference. Join us on Saturday, the 30th of July at 10 a.m. at 4 Points by Sheraton Lekki, Lagos. Come learn high impact growth and leadership. Speaking, Ni Adesonya, Olakunle Shoriyan, Dotun Oluyede, ID Olumide Kabasa. To register, visit the r3conference.com/ticket. This event is proudly sponsored by Rollout Property and First Fountain Home.
All right, we're talking about the 2023 elections and the INEC's preparation for it. Elections belong to the people, is their decision, but the one big fly in the ointment remains that of vote buying.
Yes.
And I'm wondering what the INEC can do in this circumstance.
I don't think at this stage INEC can do anything about vote buying, because these guys now proceed to buy people's conscience even ahead of election days.
And people are seemingly happy to sell their votes.
Yeah. Well, people who are impoverished, what do you expect them to do? Somebody is offering to give you money with which you can cook a pot of soup. Somebody is offering to give you 6 yards of cotton that you can use to sew a dress. How do you turn down such in these difficult times? It's difficult. For politicians, yes, you can say that politicians have weaponized poverty in our country, and now they are using it on election day because they know that INEC has continued to improve its processes and our elections are improving. With every election conducted by INEC, we are seeing improvement. So the politicians must find a way. Vote buying is an electoral malpractice. It's like outright, rigging the election outright. So no matter what progress we make in the area of perfecting our electoral processes to guarantee the fidelity of our elections. As long as politicians can have the free rein
around it,
to buy people's conscience on election day, to give out up to 30,000 sometimes to an individual on election day, it will amount to us not making any progress. Whereas if we are to be fair to INEC, we have to admit that it has improved the quality of the electioneering process. But the politicians are the problem. How many people, and the politicians also go ahead to compromise security operatives on election day. So they just look away.
The other way.
How many people have you seen that they are arrested for sharing money? People are led into buildings close to the polling center. Where they now look at those guests. Look at those guests on Instagram. They were even brandishing the money that began. Steps were not taken to quickly nip it in the bud. Now it's become a Frankenstein monster. We can't blame INEC for vote buying. It's not INEC didn't design the idea of vote buying.
Don't tell me it is here to stay.
For now?
For the moment?
Because we have not criminalized it enough. We have not served justice to people doing it. We are not making examples of people. So in my view...
How many election offenses have been punished?
This one, we hardly... I think in that area, INEC is overwhelmed because INEC it's INEC that will make the case against you, and then you get prosecuted. So their hands are full. But in this case, the politicians, the big politicians, those that naturally we respect, they've come to the conclusion that the best thing is to bribe people.
I'm telling you that their votes.
I'm telling you from report from Yaga and other reputable monitors. Ahead of the election, they were going from door to door, sharing money to people and reminding them that on election day, don't forget also. Because it could be difficult to reach enough people on election day. So they start giving people money even earlier.
Before we go.
So how do you stop that?
I'm troubled by one statement he made not too long ago. He said, politicians have weaponized poverty, So poverty will make you eat let me try a little Yoruba. Ebi ni mu ni jẹun ọ̀tá ẹ̀.
Ọ̀tá ẹni. Ebi ló mú ni jẹun ọ̀tá ẹni.
But I'm saying, if you are poor, will you eat anything?
Well, it depends on the level of poverty.
Okay.
And that
poverty gets levels.
It gets levels.
Yes, okay, and me, I don't know now.
If you are really hungry, that is why poverty is a weapon. Is a weapon, and that is why in underdeveloped countries, where there is high level of poverty, you find out that people find it difficult to think appropriately. So
and prayer, they take poverty.
It doesn't take it away. Besides, when you talk about punishment for vote buyers, who are the people that will make the laws? So the people that are supposed to make the law are the people that are using the money. So that's
all right. I hear we must go, but Busy and Jide, the ballot will remain stronger than the bullet. Whether or not anybody believes it, we wish INEC well, and I underscore the fact that you are trying to reinvent yourself. It is possible. We must go. That's it on the program for today. If you missed any part of this particular edition, join us at 11 for a late edition, and also on Sunday from 1:30 for an expanded version, 1:30 to 3:30. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. On behalf of the Backroom Boys, I'm Citizen Jones saying bye-bye for now.
looking at the indicators for next year, the macroeconomic environment requires economic liberalization for sustainable private capital growth in 2023. I believe that will be a strategic macroeconomic tool to leapfrog Africa's economy from being import dependent on product it can produce.